Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on a Wednesday night. Happy Draft Day Eve, kids. From the Superbook Sports Studios, and not just a room in my home that we put a billboard in the back of. It's like the Wizard of Oz. Don't look behind the curtain. You're not going to like what you see. But we're happy to have you guys one more night, one more sleep. Thank merciful football gods. The NFL draft is almost here. I'm sick of talking about it, sick and tired of talking about it. I know you guys are sick and tired of hearing about it. Finally, we decide, we or your team will decide who they are going to select in at least the first round of the 2023 NFL draft. 31 picks, Titans at number 11 overall, and I am ready to see this, at least the first round, come to a merciful conclusion. Eric Alonso says Buck was watching the Lakers and the Grizz. No, I'm still watching. 84-74 Grizz up right now. A few minutes left in the third period at this point. Just under 2 minutes, I believe, to play. Ja with a nasty jam over the top of LeBron earlier in the game. It's been a lot of fun to watch, and hopefully the Grizzlies can keep it alive. But we're not here to talk Grizz. MB says, I'm sick of the quarterback talk, especially because I don't think the Titans are taking one. Not so fast. I was hanging out at the radio studio today and did the show. Was on my way back here to the house. Actually, we need to start the show. I don't know why I'm just go ahead and doing show right now before we tell you guys to share the show, do all the shit that you normally do. If you're on Twitter, retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You guys got me twisted up already. I'm just ready to talk. Facebook Live, you can share now to public like Preston Tobias or Karen O'Keefe. That is in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. If you are on YouTube or on Twitch, please subscribe to the channel, throw a like on the video. If you've done both of those things, tell a friend to do the same, and we would be grateful for you that way. What about the Twitch kids? What should we do? Like the damn video, Mixologist710, and all of your Twitch compatriots. Like that video and subscribe to the channel, and I think, that's about all you can do on Twitch at this point, to the best of my knowledge. Probably more. I'm just too dumb to know any better. We are going to have a great discussion tonight. We got a lot of content to get to. It's the last primetime show of the week because, obviously, this time tomorrow, Titans probably going to be making a draft pick. And I will be deep in the bowels of Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park, probably awaiting a Zoom call with a draft pick from the Titans facility. I'm the only person to hit the like button, and I hate this show. I get it, Scary Harry. I do too. But we appreciate that you like the video anyway. So damn it, be like Scary Harry, even if you hate us, and like the video before you do anything else. We are going to go ahead and get in on the discussion because I was talking today to a couple of different people. I was wrapping up the 615 Sessions podcast. We did a live version of it at 2:00, and then I sat down to tape the install with Greg Cosell, because on Wednesdays we go bang, 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 1, 2, 3, 4 shows, and then we wrap things up with primetime on Wednesday evening. But got a text from a friend of mine, Diana Rossini of ESPN. She's in town to cover the Titans for the NFL draft, which was surprising to me because when ESPN PR put out their graphic of who will be where for the draft coverage, they had Diana going to the Indianapolis Colts, who, of course, is picking 5th overall. So Diana's here for the Titans. Last-second change. Interesting. 4th overall. Forgive me, I said 5th. 4th overall for the Indianapolis Colts. But still, curious, what makes Tennessee more intriguing for a national sports network than Indianapolis? Well, she did a television hit earlier today to that effect as to the conversations that she had with Rand Carthon and everything else that the Titans are considering at this point, which is a great many things. Now, I don't think you're going to hear a bunch of stuff that's new, right? Because what Diana is reporting is information that's been out there, that's been public, and stuff that she has reported herself, stuff that other people have reported and that has been able to be confirmed, and all these different things. But your Two Rivers Ford take is where I would like to start before I show you this clip from Diana's NFL Live hit, I believe was the program that she was on. Your Two Rivers Ford take. What's the best case scenario for the Titans in the first round of tomorrow's NFL draft? We're going to talk about it together on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. What's the best case scenario for the Titans in the first round of this draft? Your Two Rivers Ford take is always presented by Two Rivers Ford. Go to Two Rivers Ford for quality American-made Ford vehicles and award-winning customer service. Nobody has better options for you to make the car buying process fast, easy, and fun like Two Rivers Ford does. I'm a customer myself. I love my 2022 Ford Explorer that I got from Two Rivers Ford. Custom ordered it online. You can shop their inventory on the dealership or at the dealership. You can shop online, whatever makes you happiest. Two Rivers Ford is there to do business the way that you want to do business. TwoRiversFord.com. So what's the best case scenario for the Titans tomorrow night? C. Rich says Ryan Tannehill, sign Ryan Tannehill to a 10-year extension. I think there would be pitchforks and torches in the streets. I don't think that would go well. In fact, that's the only prediction I'm willing to make. That's not going to happen. I don't think Ryan Tannehill is going to get a 10-year extension tomorrow. I think that I straight up get. Okay, I'm trolling. Yeah, I see you. Get CJ. If not, then offensive line from Joe Swisher. I don't know why I said it like that, like the Grinch. Swisher. Jacoby Boston. It's not even the Grinch. It's Jim Carrey's impression of the Grinch. Jacoby Poston says offensive line is where his preferred situation would be. Karen O'Keefe would like to see them take a wide receiver. So the best case scenario to me is I have been talking about a couple of different things for, the better part of 2 months now, right? Told you guys that when Daniel Jeremiah mentioned that the Titans had explored the trade up for number 3 overall with Arizona, that was something that I was able to confirm about a month and a half, maybe a little less than a month and a half, maybe about a month ago. So we had that information. Daniel Jeremiah also put that out there, and that was something that the Titans did explore, right? Okay, so that begins immediately the curiosity around the 3rd overall pick. Well, in a world where the draft order doesn't necessarily fall the way that we've all predicted it to, the Titans may still be involved in the quarterback draft. They may not have to trade up for the 3rd overall pick, but we know that they are preparing for all scenarios, which to me, in an educated, more informed guess, I would venture to say that the best case scenario is what I think is most likely to happen, which, depending on the player that's there, I don't know which player it's going to be, but I think there's a very, very strong percentage chance that the Tennessee Titans take a quarterback tomorrow.
What's the latest on what you're hearing on the Titans draft plans tomorrow night?
Field, I sat with Titans new GM Rand Carthon in his office to go over the mood of the building on draft eve, as well as try to get more information as to what they are going to do with that pick at 11. And he tells me they're really calm, they're prepared. In fact, head coach Mike Vrabel and him sat together for 2 hours and they set their draft board. They are ready to go for Thursday night. So what are they going to do with their pick at 11? Carthon tells me they're open to everything. They're willing to move out. They're willing to stay. They're also willing to move up. In fact, I spoke to some sources around the league, teams like the Arizona Cardinals, who have taken calls from the Tennessee Titans about perhaps trading up. Now, the player they're going for, Carthon wouldn't tell me what they're doing, but my sense is the Tennessee Titans have their eyes on a quarterback, and they're going to do everything they can to go get him.
It's pretty strong, right? But why is that any different? Now, listen, Diana's credible. Talked to Diana earlier. The reporting is sound. This is something that I've talked to you guys about. This is something that many other people have been telling you, that they have been looking into these possibilities. I think the best case scenario is they end up with their quarterback tomorrow. Wouldn't that be huge? Now, I don't know who the quarterback is. That does matter for the purposes of this conversation. But if this situation has them landing the player they consider to be their franchise quarterback, then I like the idea of the conviction to go get him. Now, trading up to 3 is a lot. And as I mentioned to you guys earlier, I think this week, I know I said it at least once today on radio, and I think on the 615 today. if they were going to trade up into the top 10, right? From 11, there's only one way to go, into the top 10. At least up, there's only one way to go. So looking at the situation for the Titans, it is very, very rare. Again, it's not impossible that a trade into the top 10 would go down tomorrow once the draft happens, but it is far more likely that a team trading into the top 10 would have done so already, particularly if they were trying to get after the quarterback position. Now, I'm of the belief that they can get their quarterback at 11 with any numbers of scenarios that are going to be presented to them. Now, that quarterback might be Anthony Richardson, and you may have very, very strong opinions about Anthony Richardson. I don't know if it's Anthony Richardson, if it's CJ Stroud, if it's Will Levis, or whomever it might be. But I think the best case scenario, I would love to see the Titans end up with CJ Stroud. If I was a Titans fan, that to me seems still beyond belief. I can't believe that the Houston Texans are not going to take the second best quarterback available with the second overall selection. And you're going to hear from CJ Stroud in a second because Jimmy Wyatt is at the draft in Kansas City. He caught up with CJ Stroud, among many other prospects, and asked him about his S2 cognition testing, which we're going to play for you here in just a little bit. But I think that the best case scenario for the Titans is that they end up with the quarterback that they want. Who they want, I can't speak to. There are a number of different scenarios where I could see for all five of these dudes ending up being successful NFL starters. There are scenarios where I can see all five of them going poorly in a variety of different ways, right? But that's not the way that you do it. You don't do the analysis until you see, at least give them some time to where they land or to find out where they land and to see whether they can grow and develop in those particular positions, in those particular locations. Geography matters when it comes to the NFL draft. It's probably outside of like talent. I honestly think geography might be 1A or 1B to talent's 1A as to level of importance for these guys to succeed. But the best case scenario for this franchise is that they come away with the quarterback that they want tomorrow. Now, who that quarterback is, we will have to wait and see.
Right, Coach Vrabel has been checking up on me since really last pro day. He's an amazing coach. He's a player's coach. He's done it before, so he understands where we come from and what we go through. So I respect him 10 toes and had a great conversation with him at the pro day and excited to see what I'm blessed to have the opportunity to go somewhere and have the opportunity to put my footprint in a program in a organization, so that's what I'm excited to do and build new friends and relationships. I'm not a test taker, so I play football for me. But at the end of the day, man, I don't got nothing to prove to nobody, so I'm not going to sit here and explain how I process football. The people who are making the picks know what I can do, so that's all that matters to me. There's a whole bunch of people who know how to coach better, know how to play quarterback better, know how to do everything on social media, but that man in the arena, that's what's tough, is stepping in the arena 10 toes. So, and I'm going to stand on that. And I know what I can do. I know I can process well. I know if I'm not the smartest quarterback in this draft, I know I'm one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL when I step in there tomorrow. So I have that confidence in myself, and I don't think you can play at Ohio State and not be smart. So I don't got nothing to prove to nobody, man. At the end of the day, if you don't trust and believe in me, all I can tell you is watch this.
So that's CJ Stroud, the Ohio State quarterback, and that is Jimmy Wyatt, courtesy of Jimmy Wyatt, who is in attendance for the draft in Kansas City. You know, if the Stroud scenario presents itself, damn. I mean, I don't know how much better it could be. And listen, I know it's a different version of Cardale Jones, right? Another former Ohio State quarterback. We didn't come here to play school, right? We came here to play football. I can't remember the exact quote, but that was generally the takeaway, right? Didn't go to Ohio State to play school. Went to Ohio State to play football. And CJ Stroud is basically saying that, yeah, so what? I didn't test well. I'm still a damn good quarterback. And maybe those things aren't predictive as people want to make them. You have the creator of the S2 cognition testing coming out there and saying, yeah, it's not the end all be all for whether a player is going to succeed or fail. Like, I think the coverage of the cognitive testing has been so overwhelming, and I really think there's a bit of a misinterpretation by a lot of colleagues of mine in the media who are assigning it more weight than it otherwise deserves at this point. Should it be factored in? Of course. Absolutely. But I don't think it should be damning in the case of CJ Stroud. Now, if you're Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans and you're trying to leak that CJ Stroud had some shitty testing just to get him to drop a little further, maybe to 11, maybe a little further, just let me get to 9, maybe 7, maybe the Raiders. I can do this. I can trade up and get into the top 10 and go get that damn quarterback. I'm not alleging anything. But I do think that the best case scenario for the Tennessee Titans is to come away with a quarterback that they want. If that doesn't manifest itself, depending on how the draft order goes, they are going to be, one would think, prepared for that scenario. If they're not, then this whole experiment is going to be pretty short-lived anyway. The Primetime Show is presented by TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrueMathFitness.com for your first workout free. Nobody gets you better ready to go, gets you in better shape, gets you more prepared to feel better, to live a better life, to have better sleep, to have better energy on a day-to-day basis because you are improving your fitness like TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch. They helped me drop 52 pounds. I'm incredibly grateful to the awesome coaching staff at TrueMath Fitness. I love their group classes. If that's not for you, you can go and do their personal training. You can go work out at their open gym with any level of their membership options. TrueMathFitness.com is where you go for your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident. So, looking at the best case scenario for the Titans, what do you believe it to be? This is a freaking nightmare, says Puka. What, the quarterback situation? Well, I mean, the good news is it'll all be over soon, right? By this time tomorrow, one would assume, unless they trade back, that the quarterback solution or the wide receiver or offensive line, honestly, the worst case scenario for me in terms of like intrigue and interest is them taking Skoronski or something like that. Because that's just like, yeah, I get it. That'll work. That's probably going to make them a lot better. But holy shit, is a tackle that might actually be a guard a pretty dull talking point for a first-round pick. Now, listen, they just need fundamentally good football players. They need guys who can play. They need somebody who can anchor that offensive line for 8 to 10 years. If they can find him in the first round, good luck and God bless. You need all the help you can get to keep Ryan Tannehill or whomever plays quarterback for you in seasons to come off of their asses the way that they have consistently been for the last 2 seasons. But I do think that for the purposes of the Titans, CJ Stroud would be ideal. MB says it's not about the media. I know, but it's very, very difficult for me. And, I think this is media in general. I won't speak for all my colleagues, but I do think that we do have a tendency to make a lot of things about ourselves, and I will not apologize for that. I want to be able to do a more entertaining show, and the most entertaining show is a quarterback for me, MB. So, yes, I would like a quarterback, even if the guard also makes your football team better. I understand. We can potentially meet somewhere in the middle. I would accept tight end. I would accept wide receiver. I would basically accept anything but guard, even though, it would be a completely acceptable and reasonable solution for them to draft a guard. Maybe not at 11. That seems a bit high. Either way, worst case scenarios, let's talk about them. Because just as there's a lot of different positions and a lot of capable players that they can acquire in tomorrow night's first round, 11 overall. Daniel Jeremiah has the Titans taking Zay Flowers. Jimmy Wyatt asked us, he always texts damn near everybody, but apparently Robert Walsh for their Titans media mock draft pick, which was curious to me, unfortunate. And, I don't know if he's taking this as a personal slight, but, perhaps he's sulking back there somewhere. Probably not paying attention to anything I'm saying. I think that, so I wanted Zay Flowers, and I looked at it not as something that they will do. I would like it just to be something that they do. I would love to see them take Zay Flowers. I think he is my favorite wide receiver in this draft class. I think he's a dog. I miss covering alpha wide receivers. It's been a while since I've gotten the opportunity to do. Actually, it hadn't been that long since they traded AJ, but a year feels like so long, and I could use another alpha wide receiver in my life. Maybe he's not AJ Brown, but damn, if Treylon Burks can't use the help. Now, if you can't keep a quarterback upright, what good is the wide receiver? And that's basically the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase versus Penei Sewell argument for a couple of years ago. Honestly, it worked out well for both Cincinnati and Detroit because Penei Sewell looks like a stud, and so it obviously is Jamar Chase. But I do think that Zay Flowers would be a lot of fun. It would be against their MO, and I would love to see them do something against their MO at this stage. Willis, let's see. Buck, did you like interviewing Lawan, says MB? Yeah, sure. But Taylor's like, most offense, and I've got a lot of friends who are offensive linemen, a lot of friends who are former offensive line, college or pro. A lot of times they're either the funniest and weirdest human beings of all time, or they have the personality of your shoes. Like, there's no in between with offensive linemen. And that's fine. Like, a lot of them are there to grunt, growl, drool, block, hit, whatever, do the thing, you giant lump of humanity that is just going to try and move another giant lump of humanity out of the way. That's a lot of offensive linemen, and that's totally fine. That's their job. Their job is not to be entertaining for me when I need a good quote. Now, was Taylor great because Taylor could quote and also do that from time to time, although it's been a while? Sure, that was swell. But, there's more. Oh, my God. What was I think he was a right guard, Josh Klein. Josh Klein was literally just the definition of a lump of clay. Like, and Josh Klein had a couple of good seasons, but my God, could you not talk to Josh Klein about anything? Now, it benefits Josh Klein to say nothing at all. But at least, like, even the weird ones, like Chance Warmack would talk about, like toe jam, he'd call it toe meat, and be sitting in his locker talking about toe meat in ways that were, disgusting, but also, at least I got to laugh. Maybe a good Twitter video every once in a while. Ben Jones was a bad interview too, says MB. Not on the radio show. He was an intentionally bad interview, which I still haven't forgiven Benny for. But his hour that he spent with me, an hour for a person who's a bad interview, I would invite you all to go back and listen to that Ben Jones hour that we did. People are saying, not me, but many people are saying that it's the best hour in the history of the Buck Rising radio show, which is a very self-involved title for a radio show, but what are you going to do? Let's move on to worst case scenarios. What's the worst case for the Titans in this situation? What is the worst case scenario for them to walk out of their draft room, the war room, tomorrow night and say, holy bleep, what just happened to us? Or whether we and you, by extension, are saying, holy bleep, what did they just do? I think there is a worst case scenario that can occur, even as there are many good scenarios that are available to them. Jackie Holbert says last year's draft. Yeah. Well, luckily, I mean, whether it's luck or bad luck that you no longer have an A.J. Brown to trade away, you don't have to go through that again. So no, that is not a worst case scenario situation for you because you no longer have an A.J. to trade. But worst case scenarios, we'll talk about them together right after I remind you that the Primetime Show is made possible by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Go to GaryAshton.com and get that intel edge you need to succeed. Nobody has got better information. Nobody has got better properties than the Ashton Group. The official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators is Gary Ashton for a reason, just as they're the official real estate agent of the streaming show and my radio show. Gary Ashton is where you go for the dream address without the stress, and trust the team that your favorite teams trust at GaryAshton.com. So what's the worst case scenario for the Titans, where you walk out of tomorrow night and you are shell-shocked? Now, I don't think there's not going to be any worse shell shock than what happened to you last year. Last year was truly jaw-dropping. As somebody who was in the building, as somebody who was in that press conference afterwards, as somebody who was scared Mike Vrabel might jump across the table at any moment and choke the life out of one of us because what the hell did they just do? They're still dealing with the repercussions of that. And, a general manager has since then lost his job, and the wheels on the bus go round and round. Now, the good news is it can't be like last year. Like I said, you don't have an A.J. Brown to trade. But I do think there's a scenario that comes out poorly, ultimately, in a way that you may not feel right away. What I mean by this is your quarterback situation. Just as it's the best case scenario for the Titans to be able to find a quarterback in this draft, if they do in fact like one, but the quarterback situation can also be the worst case scenario if they come out of this NFL draft and their solution to all the quarterback questions around them are Ryan Tannehill and Malik Willis as the backup, that I believe is the worst case scenario. I think at minimum, this football team, whether they're drafting, Hendon Hooker, if he slides to the second, whether they feel good enough about a Stetson Bennett or a Kyle Duggar out here to take a fifth or a sixth round flyer on a backup, they need a better situation of backup quarterback. My worst case scenario for this football team is to emerge from this entire draft, not just tomorrow, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, without a better solution behind Tannehill. I don't mean it doesn't have to be a long-term solution. I mean for the immediate. I mean for the 2023 season, they need to improve their backup quarterback situation. If drafting a player or bringing another player in the post-draft is the solution to improving the quarterback room, fine, do it. If it pushes Malik to be a better player, fine, do it. If you have a situation where you come out of this draft without a quarterback, Malik doesn't make progress, and you have to extend Ryan Tannehill, there are all number of ways in which I know that is going to cause you angst. These are real scenarios that are on the table. And that is the worst case scenario to me, where you come out where you come out of this without any solution to the future of your quarterback, but more importantly to the present. Because when last I saw this version of the Tennessee Titans, Ryan Tannehill struggling without help around him, injured because of bad offensive line play, Malik Willis coming in his absence, getting 3 starts, playing in 8 games, and not being able to operate an NFL passing offense. That can't happen again in 2023. It simply cannot. The loss and ability, the drop-off in starting quarterback situation is as big a reason as any that team lost 7 straight games last year. They had plenty of problems. They had plenty of injuries. It's not all Malik Willis's fault. I'm not pinning this on him. Like I said, I hope this man has the most successful NFL career humanly possible. I wish him nothing but good things in this world. And if he can make these improvements, then good for him and well done to you, sir. But in the immediate, I do not have evidence to that effect. I can only go with the sample size of Malik Willis that I have to this point. That may not be fair as we sit here on April the 26th when last we saw him play. It was what? End of December? Mid-December? It's not that far. It's enough time on a football calendar, but it's not that far removed from how much further he had to go. That's why I think the worst case scenario in this situation is if they end up without a better backup quarterback solution, because they can't risk it at this point. Let's see. Tennessee will need a quarterback 3 in later rounds. Even if quarterback 3 pushes Malik a little more to make him a little better, it's almost impossible to project these things long-term. There's so many different twists and turns that a season can make, an offseason can make. Maybe Malik Willis comes back and pushes Ryan Tannehill, right? I have no idea. That would be a miraculous turnaround and highly unlikely. Ryan Tannehill projects, in almost every facet to be the starting quarterback for this football team. But I'm not actively trying to discredit Malik. But what I last saw of Malik is not sufficient. And so if that is the version that we are still operating with, then they cannot in good conscience move forward without a better backup quarterback situation. Truly, they cannot. Nora says, should they draft a quarterback then? Listen, I don't have their draft board, right? I don't know how they have these players stacked at the various positions, and I can't speak to their love of one quarterback versus another. I know they've had 3 in. I know that Mike Vrabel regularly speaks to CJ Stroud since the pro day. And I think that, Bryce Young is going to be off the table because he's going to go first overall. So, what do I think is going to happen? Would I like to see them take a quarterback? I think it makes a ton of sense to. If I was getting anywhere near the betting markets on this thing, I would bet quarterback. I think more than any other position. It just makes too much sense. It just makes too much damn sense. So we'll see what happens. All of this can go to hell in a handbasket. Hell, it could change, it doesn't look like Arizona's going to move that pick at this point. But there's a lot of time left between now and tomorrow evening. But I think that the quarterback, preferably not trading up for the quarterback, but I think the quarterback scenario makes a ton of sense at this stage. All right, let's move on. Let's wrap the show up with a rising and falling candidate. Whose stock rose, whose stock fell this week in sports? Let me know on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch, and we'll talk about it together. Scary Harry says, where's our second round pick? How far down? They are 41 this year. The Tennessee Titans, they are 1 pick ahead of the Jets. I think at this point, Stephen King says, am I doing anything tomorrow for the draft? Yeah, I'll be at the facility. That's where I've been. For the, not that anybody, no, I don't think too many people care, but yeah, we draft from the facility. Like, I draft at the facility. The whole Titans media contingent is there. We have a media room that's set up. They give us, we have our food and drink supplies back there. We've got a couple of televisions. We've got our workstations in there. And so we'll all sit in the media room while the draft goes on. Once they make a pick, we will, they'll put us on a Zoom call with the draft pick. And then whenever we're done with the draft pick, they'll trot us all into the press conference area where we will speak with Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon at the end of their nights every night. So we'll have 3 press conferences with Mike Vrabel, Rand Carthon over the course of the next 3 days, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, after they finish picking in each day, after their final pick of each day is when we will meet with them. So we'll do we'll have, I'll have video from those things. I'll have, we'll be doing some special stuff for A to Z Sports on Instagram. Buck with the flexes, Eric Alonso. Guys, this is my job. It's been my job for 7 years. Like, I mean, it's not a flex. It's like, it's literally what they pay me the money to do. The whole reason that we have the primetime show, the podcast, the radio show is because I used to be at one point a day-to-day Titans reporter. And now, they keep putting microphones in front of my face and I keep taking them because I like them. But yeah, that's the gig. That's the whole reason why we do all these things. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Now I know that A to Z Sports is going to have a live stream. I know that Austin Stanley and Sam Phelan are going to be involved in it. I think Jack Gentry is doing that too, if I remember correctly. I will also tell you that Titans Radio is going to have coverage on 104.5 The Zone. Coach Dave McGinnis, Mike Keith, voice of the Titans, who's on my radio show today. Mike was really, really good on the new stadium stuff. So John says, are you guys doing a live show? I personally am not. I have done that in years past, but I'm better off at the facility, and we'll let the talking heads. I guess I'm a talking head too at this point, but I'd like to be at the facility, and they have allowed me to go to the facility and not have to deal with the live show while I'm doing all this. So I can, be a reporter at this point, which is really what I enjoy doing. And the Titans radio broadcast, by the way, is going to be at 6th and Peabody. If you live in Nashville, that's going to be a lot of fun. They're going to have Brad Hopkins in there doing draft analysis, the former Titans offensive lineman. I know Ramon Foster is going to be doing it as well. Going to be a great time. Quarterback is the position that I think they're going to end up taking, but we will see at this point. Whose stock rose? Whose stock fell? That's the question. We are going to do that here with you together right after I tell you that Superbook Sports is where you go to wager on all the action this season. Download the Superbook Sports app and get the best odds boost and promo bets out. Whether you bet the Lakers or the Grizzlies tonight, whether you are betting the NBA playoffs, the NHL postseason, or MLB, Superbook is your place to wager on your favorite major sports. Download the Superbook app. Go to superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. So, whose stock rose, whose stock fell this week in sports? Misguided Perception says, I bet Amy told Rand and Vrabel she wants a quarterback, and I don't care how it happens. I don't think Amy really gets down like that. Now, I don't know that those are conversations that haven't been had, but Amy has not traditionally been that kind of meddling owner, or at least we have not been able to discern that Amy is somebody who has been an owner who meddles on a regular basis. Now, listen, it's her football team, right? It's the billionaire toy, right? She's got her plaything. She wants to do the quarterback situation. Billionaire has the billionaire toy. Billionaire wants a quarterback to go with the billionaire toy. So why shouldn't she get what she wants? If that's what she wants, I don't know. But, I don't really think, at least right now, that the management structure is such that edicts are being handed on from down high. Now, I'm sure she's been briefed about all the different directions they would like to go and the positions. I'm sure she has an idea of who they would take, and she has probably given her input, but I don't think a directive was handed down from the quarterback situation. That's probably why John Robinson got fired, not listening to Amy. Well, I mean, no, not listening to Amy. That's not like that would, John wasn't going rogue, but I will say that he was cutting himself off from people on his staff at the end. That's why you hear the word collaboration so much, because it was not an inclusive process towards the end with John Robinson. That was something that I've talked about with you guys before, and something that, contributed to all the collaboration talk. That you see that word 17 times in a statement when Rand Carthon's hired. Grizzlies about to win this game, by the way, keep this series alive and try and get a little closer to the Lakers, who are up 3-1 until the final buzzer comes down, 114-96. 116-96 with under 2 minutes to play. I think that for John, there's a variety of different things that happen, and ultimately it ended poorly. But with that being said, I think that the rising and falling candidate this week, the person whose stock rose or fell the most at this point, I would say that Cam Newton continues to kind of step in it publicly in ways that are really not great for him.
NFL draft's around the corner, and everybody's been asking what's my take on who should the Carolina Panthers select. And this is how I judge quarterbacks as a whole. Everybody can throw. Everybody has talent. Everybody has upside. But the thing that everybody doesn't have, and it's simple, is leadership, and can you get a to follow you? If I'm the GM, if I'm the head coach, if I'm David Tepper, I'm selecting Bryce Young.
I just love that he's sitting somewhere in, the state of North Carolina. Cam Newton is in a room that's painted with the font that he uses to text, which would also be something that you might see in like a Riddler scene in the Batman or something like that. Like just crazed markings on the walls is what I think of when I think of Cam Newton's text or chosen text font. But Cam Newton, who's offering draft advice, who's sitting in a room, who's looking insane, because those are the kind of outfits that Cam wears, and I always appreciate his eccentricities. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people in Carolina, if they run into Cam Newton, probably not buying Oikos yogurt anymore, but if they run into Cam Newton at the supermarket and asking Cam Newton, who does he want the Panthers to draft number 1 overall? Cam is trying to stay in the headlines, and the dude just, he is an easy target, but I do appreciate that Cam is always there, always out there talking about it, talking about whatever he wants to talk about on a consistent basis. There's a good YouTube video on why J-Rob failed, says Kyle Dallas. Well, that helps absolutely no one if there's no links provided or any further context given. Are you talking about this YouTube video? Probably not, I would assume. I mean, I would appreciate that. That would be very kind of you, Kyle, but no idea what you're talking about. YouTube's a big, wide world, and there's all kinds of, both conspiratorial shit and, some good information out there on YouTube from time to time. But that requires a level of discernment that I don't think I have at 8:57 p.m. on the night before the draft. So no primetime show tomorrow. Radio show from 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Zone. We'll have a great time. I will be getting you ready for the NFL draft. Bruce Feldman of Fox Sports and The Athletic, who is one of the foremost college football analysts and somebody who has a hand in both worlds, college and pro, who speaks to NFL player personnel evaluators and is on the sidelines of the biggest college football games each and every week during the fall. He'll be on the show at 12:20 tomorrow. And obviously, we'll be talking a lot of Titans from 10 to 1 on the radio program. And then I'll be off to the facility. And then I will emerge from the darkness like Aaron Rodgers after a darkness retreat from St. Thomas Sports Park, from the bowels of St. Thomas Sports Park at, probably somewhere between 4 and 5 in the afternoon on Saturday. And by then, we'll have a Titans draft class to talk about and a lot more content to get into. Have a great rest of your evening. Enjoy the draft. And I'm sure I will talk to you tomorrow at some point on A to Z Sports Primetime. See you guys.
Are you surprised to hear that?
Certainly not. The first year we took it to the limit. And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
It's been 20 years since then. We haven't been too strong in the last few years.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules. You can't have a newcomer come in and steal a show.